My brothers and sisters in gaming, for the past week, my nuts have been clamped by the sheer force of Zeus thanks to a game known as Wuthering Waves. I'm not eating, I'm not sleeping, I'm not shitting, I'm not showering. I am chronically addicted to an open world action RPG gacha game. Someone come and save me. Yeah, I'm not one for the gacha usually, but I got one taste of this beef sandwich, and this is the only thing I can currently think about. Wuthering Waves is a Genshin Impact-like, and is that even a thing? I don't know if it is, but this is very Genshin Impact. It should be known that this game is not from MiHoYoverse. This is totally separate. It's its own thing created by a game studio known as Kuro Games. These guys clearly saw the success of Genshin Impact released back in 2020 and thought to themselves, you know, we could do that, but you know, like change it up a little bit, but you know, we can basically just do the same thing. And that's exactly what they did, with over 32 million people pre-registered to Wuthering, now flooding into the game itself due to it being released. I played a little bit of Genshin back when it released in 2020, but it just wasn't really my thing. It was impressive to see how MiHoYoverse took the concept of Breath of the Wild and applied it into a gacha online game. It was quite the revolutionary thing to see at the time, because gacha and quality video game don't to be in the same equation all too often. Gacha has also almost always been a part of mobile games, more so than proper console-esque experiences. Genshin, while it did release on phones first and PC, was definitely closer to a traditional video game experience than a lot of the games found in the gacha space. That's not to say that MiHoYoverse don't want your money, oh they most certainly do, and this is kind of why I try to pull myself away from gachas the times that I have indulged into them, like Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. It was as if Mickey Mouse himself had shoved me down into a dark, stinky alleyway to force shrooms down my throat, in the hopes that I'd come back for the 16th, 32nd, and 128th hit. And guess what? Oh, I did. I'm still recovering. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm done. I'm fucking done with this game, dude. But I think it's just a matter of like finding the one that you actually do enjoy, and my mom's gonna be so disappointed in me, but like I need to be able to get all of the currently available anime-esque characters to add to my collection, because without it my life is incomplete. Mum, I am so sorry. I have let you down. Your son is a filthy gacha enjoyer. Putting both Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves side by side, it's pretty hard to differentiate the two of them. I would say that Wuthering Waves has less of a cartoony aesthetic compared to Genshin, but it's funny how scary similar these two games look. I would honestly love to know MiHoYoverse's honest opinions towards Kuro Games and Wuthering Waves, because now finally, after 4 years, Genshin Impact actually has a worthy competitor. Now the reason why I'm drawn to Wuthering Waves compared to that of Genshin Impact, and why I kind of latched onto this game and have been keeping a close eye on it since last year, is most definitely its combat system, with Wuthering Waves being closer to more of a traditional hack and slash fast-paced action title than Genshin Impact is. Both of these games are action RPGs, and they both do a real-time action combat system pretty well. Wuthering Waves' combat system is like if Genshin Impact's combat system were to do a line of disco dust, then this would be the results. Yeah, this is a lot faster. It feels very Nier Automata, it feels very Devil May Cry-ish, Bayonetta-ish. It just feels more in line with those traditional hack and slash action RPG games you've played in the past, whereas Genshin Impact is very much more so focused on strategically engaging into each fight, with being aware more so of elemental differences and how you can best approach every single situation, whereas Wuthering Waves is most certainly more so dodge dependent and focused around parrying. You've got that oh so smooth, perfect dodge system with the follow-up counter attack. Pulling off a parry is that same feeling of waking up at 3 AM and taking a huge skull of water. Oh my god, is it satisfying. And just like Genshin Impact, you have multiple different playable characters that all have their own movesets. Wuthering Waves, however, only focuses on 3 playable characters that can be switched in and out at one time, compared to Genshin Impact's 4. You've also got these really cool intro and outro special attacks for when you're switching in and out of your playable characters, like this one, where we got Bootleg Sephiroth, where he does the 2 slashes forward, like every time I switch to him. game. It's just cinematic goodness. Because of how cool this combat system is though, it's just really fun to play around with how different each of the characters feel, even if they do use the same weapon types, which there's only 5 weapon types in the game with broad blade, gauntlets, pistols, rectifiers, and normal swords. They all feel completely distinct from one another. I'm also in love with the gearing system of this game. It is ingenious. It mixes in another video game genre that people are addicted to, which is Pokemon monster hunting. Instead of fighting baddies in the hope that you'll get the drop for Uncle Randy's stinky hand-me-downs, all of the monsters that you come across in the world can potentially be captured and absorbed as echoes. Echoes are what you equip onto your character to provide additional stats. There's a complete collection log here, so you got that addicting aspect of wanting to completely fill that out with different rarities of echoes. There's even shinies in this game, because of course there is. In every single echo you collect, even duplicates always drop completely random stats. This is sort of the core progression of Wuthering Waves. When you get to sort of the end point where I'm currently at, the farming aspect will be taking down multiple different monsters in order to get that one specific RNG'd rolled version of that echo that best suits the character setup you're trying to aim for. As you level these up, you're able to roll random substats, and these are just completely random. You're even able to utilize the monster's special attack as an activatable special ability if you equip an echo into the first primary echo slot. I have gone through and have enslaved absolutely all of these creatures. I am an anime Pokemon master. You got your traditional character and weapon leveling that can all be enhanced via the use of materials. Characters can be further strengthened in a passive skill tree of sorts via the use of, again, materials. And further enhancements towards every character can also be unlocked if you roll a duplicate of a character via pulls. Of course, like any gacha game though, enhancing your stuff is all material and resource dependent, and to get all of these different resources, they are locked behind yet another resource, which of course, you have to wait daily for it to actually replenish to be able to engage in the activities that will provide you with these resources. Because these companies want you to keep coming back and to keep sucking on the lactating nipple of the gacha game. They essentially want to give you a reason to play, but not to play so much to a point that you're playing this game like an MMORPG. Wave plates are sort of like the energy system of this game, and you only get about 240 every 24 hours. Most of the activities throughout the game that are going to give you the additional progression resources cost anywhere from 40 to 60 wave plates. So when you kind of get through the initial sprint of the game and get to that kind of end game point where the current version of the game is at, you're pretty much just trickling into the game each day for maybe an hour or two to spend your wave plates to get the additional resources to further strengthen your characters. This is, I guess, where the experience of a gacha game kind of simmers out a little bit. The initial blast through this game for the first like 3 days is one of the most enjoyable online gaming experiences I've had since I first came across RuneScape and World of Warcraft. Like, that addicted, disgustingly addicted, my ass smells, it needs a clean, addicted. Just like Genshin Impact, this takes the concept of Breath of the Wild in the ways of how you can climb literally everything. The open world is essentially a playground where anything that you're doing in the open world is progression. I kind of feel like the Breath of the Wild emphasis here on the open world setup is a little bit stronger in Wuthering Waves compared to that of Genshin Impact, where the open world is just littered with activities like chests, but the chest requires you to defeat all the surrounding enemies in order to get the Union XP. Oh yeah, by the way, literally anything you do in this game gives you Union XP. Union XP is like your overall account level. This is the exact same thing as Genshin Impact's adventure rank. For every 10 levels your Union level increases, all enemies become stronger, you gain access to harder versions of challenges and activities around the world, and you can unlock further character progression. So part of that daily login grinds that you'll be doing on top of farming materials, also farming Union XP, which is attached to all of those activities that give you materials, so that you can slowly push towards the next Soul 3 phase. But yeah, you got the to be expected puzzles, because a Zelda-like type concept is not a Zelda-like type concept without the puzzles. There's platforming challenges, these really interesting little monster mini games where you play as a fish fish or like a dragonfly thing, shooting challenges for the ranged heroes. It was just genuinely fun to explore the entirety of this decently sized open world, and one that is beautiful. The visuals of this game and the locations are simply gorgeous. Wuthering Waves goes for a post-apocalyptic fantasy style type setup, which is really cool, quite unique, very different to what you see in something like Genshin Impact. You've of course got side quests and daily quests and little events that you can take part in to get additional materials and resources, as well as Union XP. On top of that, there is also a main scenario that will naturally unfold as the game's life cycle continues. The main scenario for me wasn't really anything too special. Like, I'm not gripped into this game via the narrative. I think it's just okay. You start the game off as Rover, who's mysteriously appeared in this world. It might seem as if they're actually someone from a time way back when. Dude is old as man. This guy is crusty. And it's about sort of unraveling the mysteries as to exactly why this character is here. Again, like, only a portion of this story is currently in the game, though it's a pretty decent one and is kind of self-contained. It'll be interesting to see how it progresses from here on out. Now for the real question, is this game going to make you homeless? How much money does the game want to take from you? Is it gonna Homer Simpson strangle every last cent out of your wallet? I can happily tell you though, that throughout my experience of playing this game obsessively since it first launched, I have not spent a single cent on it. Now, although I don't spend time in the Genshin Impact community, from what I've heard around the streets, Kuro Games are a lot more generous so far compared to that of MiHoYo with Genshin, with Kuro handing out a lot of freebies. Especially as of recently, there were a lot of pre-registration rewards that got distributed to all players upon logging into the game for the first time, which is still available, by the way, so I highly suggest you sign up. If you cherish your life, you will not sign up. Don't do it. But on top of that, they have been handing out a lot of compensation rewards recently due to issues with the game, whether it be performance-related issues or in regards to server crashes. I will say though, aside from like a really high MS, which has caused maybe some issues here and there, like, my experience of this game has been pretty smooth sailing, like pretty streamlined. I honestly don't know where all of the issues are funneling from, but for me, I seem relatively untouched. But to be fair, I'm like happy with all of the problems and issues because like they're just handing out shit like they're Oprah Winfrey. You can accumulate a currency in the game known as Astrite, which can then be used in order to buy pulls. So yeah, you can engage in pulls and pull from banners and stuff from just simply playing the game. Very similar to that of Genshin, but I just think the generosity behind the rate in which you accumulate Astrite here in Wuthering Waves is all the more better. It really seems as if Kuro Games want to get their player base absolutely rottenly addicted to the game so that eventually they can stop handing out freebies and premium currency so that you have no other choice but to purchase it. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I got a feeling in my bones that probably will happen. Through just playing the game and the generosity of Kuro, I've managed to pull every single character so far, aside from Ling Yang. I've pulled a bunch of 4-star weapons. I've even had duplicates of characters I've already pulled previously. The only thing I'm really trying to do right now is to pull for a 5-star weapon. There is also a battle pass here because, you know, it's 2024 and Genshin Impact also has a battle pass, so this game needs a battle pass. You got the free tier, but there is a premium tier. I'm kind of tempted, but then again, that's just me succumbing to the darkness of the gacha. I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but I'm inching towards it. I will say though, this game is seemingly in very good hands, along with the generosity of giving out a lot of free stuff as of right now. The next big major update since the launch of the game is expected to drop towards the end of June. This will introduce 2 new playable characters, a new boss, as well as an entire new area to the overworld to explore. However guys, that's my 2 cents on Wuthering Waves. I just wanted to talk about this because I am just chronically addicted to it and I didn't expect this at all. Again, I just simply don't really enjoy gacha titles because I know it is a money-making scheme. But damn it, they've got me, dude. They absolutely have me. They've got me in a chokehold. If you're curious, why not go ahead and give it a try? It is currently out. People are raving about it. It's a pretty good time. Just, don't fall into the gacha abyss. yes, you may lose a lot of money. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up with everything that's going on here. Check out my other garbage social media platforms. Big thank you to my turkey-tastic patrons. I appreciate the support. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and we'll talk real soon.